Hello everyone and welcome back for another episode of Gloomhaven. Before we get into the campaign proper, I wanted to have a very little chat about, let's actually bring up the perk menu, about perks, leveling up, and what we can expect from the characters. Now, throughout the course of leveling, as your character goes from level 1 through to level 9, you'll pick up 8 perks just for leveling. There's 3 more you can pick up from the trainer tab, and 3 more from specific quests relating to the class themselves. So that's how we're going to end up filling these out. Now, for most classes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's 14 perks, there's 15 options, so there's going to be something that ends up getting left behind, but ultimately, at the end of it, most builds at the end game are going to end up much the same. So when it comes time to leveling up and picking these perks, in fact, picking the perks more than leveling up, because leveling up is more interesting with regards to the cards, I'm going to talk at that time about what I'm picking and why I'm picking it. And spoiler alert, most of it's going to be about making the deck perform more consistently and better. So we're going to be looking to mitigate the negatives, which is mostly going to be taking consistency, taking focus, and equivalent things like that. There will be a couple of exceptions for things like fortitude, which allows you to ignore negative item effects, which for some characters is very, very useful. And then there's another one for negative scenario effects. So when those crop up, we're going to take them probably first. But overall, my normal strategy is make the decks perform consistently well, and then look to add the extra rotational benefits that come in. I think that's a good way of putting it. Right, in terms of the characters, we have the Brute, who has a couple of XP. We have the Tinkerer, who has a couple of XP. We have the Scoundrel, who has more XP. We have the Crackheart, who has no XP. Then we've got the Spellweaver, who also has no XP. And the Mind Thief, who has no XP. We're going to keep to two characters. Let's just clear this out. And I think we'll start with the Brute and the Tinkerer. I think that's a fine combination. Without knowing what the missions are like, it's going to be hard to say what we want to do. In terms of equipment that we're going to have for them, hide armor is really good, and we do want it on the Brute, but if we get it on the Brute, there's going to be 2 additional minuses thrown in there. So for right now, I don't want to do that. Instead, I'd be more likely to get the leather armor for the Tinkerer. We've already got the Eagle-Eye Goggles, which is immensely useful for the Tinkerer. Leather armor will allow us to get a bit more survivability in there. So we'll buy that and equip it. And another thing I'd like to do is probably get the piercing bow. And the main reason for this, if we go to the Tinkerer's cards, so I've gone through and I've selected a couple of differences. Most notably down here, we've got Volatile Concoction and Reviving Shock. Reviving Shock is a ranged attack that targets a few different mobs. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage, but it does hit at range multiple targets. Getting the piercing bow means that can be effective against skeletons, which is a pretty big step, I'd say. So we're going to buy that. We are running quickly out of money. We're down to 27. The other thing that we want to consider is stamina for these two. We've already got minor healing on the Brute, which makes sense because we're going to be putting him right up front. But down on the Tinkerer, buying a minor stamina potion, that's a no-brainer at this point. Final thing, we've got 17 left. We can't buy any more boots. I would love to. We just can't afford them. In fact, we can't afford any more items other than additional potions. So for right now, that'll do for our setup. In terms of the trainer, we need to unlock 9 locations on the general part, but there are specific specific things for the individual characters, which will unlock their quests, which will then give us more perks as we do them. So we're looking to get the Brute to level 2, we're looking to get the Tinkerer to level 2, and anything else we do on top of that at this point is a bonus. We're not specifically looking to get the Brute to use a heal ability 30 times. It'll be nice, it'll give us a perk. More likely these will come as we use the characters. So we have 2 potential options. Set a trap and ambush a bunch of bandits. That's actually going to give us, let's click into it, a minor mana potion. I like it. 4 XP, also good, and unlocks a new location. The other option is we could go and clear out the undead, which is going to give us stun powder as a design. Interesting. And unlock Bloodford. I'm not sure which is going to be the best one to go for at this stage. Banner Archer Elites are kind of annoying, but I think with these 2, we're better suited to taking out very tanky Living Bones and, of course, the Living Corpse. Alright, this is where we're going to go. Let's double check our cards before we go in. I've selected these ones and I've selected these ones. We've gone for Balance Measure over here and Skewer because both of those are useful for Pierce. When it comes time to like switch cards around, if we're leveling up, then I'll pick the ones we want to go into our pool on stream. But otherwise, in between episodes, I'll probably do a lot of thinking and computing off camera, just so you don't like sit there while I muse around for 20 minutes. Let's head to the Hollow Men. So Bloodford is plagued by walking corpses. Clear a nearby crypt of the Blight. As you get closer to the village of Bloodford, you pass through steadily more boggy terrain. The ground sucks at you every step away from the path. Pools release foul-smelling bubbles, their stink turning your stomach. The rot is at its worst from a ruined structure to the south of the path. You grimly head towards it, not expecting this encounter to be pleasant. Ooh, so we get to now pick battle goals. Battle goals are secret objectives. They're totally not secret because, of course, we're picking them. That we're trying to complete inside the dungeon. Failing it has no drawback. On success, we gain a reward, which is going to be XP. So for the Brute, have 3 or fewer total cards in your hand and discard at the end of the scenario. That means burning through a lot. It's possible we'd be able to do that. We could try and gear towards it as we reach the end of the match, or loot 5 or more gold piles during the scenario. That seems quite likely because the Brute is going to be like in right amongst everything. Let's have a look at the Tinkerer. Have 1 or more monster present on the map during every single round. That's a lot of XP, which is really nice. Or allow none of your allies to become exhausted. This is kind of like an easy given, because if we fail, then we fail. This is double reward, but it means we need to be very aggressive. I think we'll take Protector, and I think we'll take the 5 gold, and we'll see how we do with those. Well, this stench can only mean one thing. Living corpses. They're big and hit hard, but boy are they slow. Ah, and they also have a fondness for vomiting. Keep on your toes and hit them from range and you should be fine. Right, so planning phase. We need to kill all enemies in all rooms. Having a look around the map, there is an additional room through here, so we can't burn through everything in this room by itself. But this room is pretty good for us. We have 3 initial targets right away. And what I want to do is I want to very quickly have a look through and see what we have that can hit multiple mobs. Reviving Shock. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage, but it does hit multiple mobs. So that's a good option. Flamethrower is good if we can bump them up together. Enhancement Field will make Reviving Shock a lot better. Proximity Mine is an interesting one, but it does burn a card. Hook Gun could be used to pull things together, but probably not in a useful way right now. Ink Bomb, hell of a lot of damage. XP for hitting, but burns the card. I'm thinking Enhancement Field and Reviving Shock. I'm hoping that these guys are going to move a little bit slowly. Looking at where we are, let's put the Tinkerer over this side. And I think you're going to have to move 2 to reach us anyway. You're going to have to move 2 to reach us. We could probably move the Brute to here. You're still 2 to reach us. You're 3 to reach us. You're 1 to reach us. So this has gotten a little bit worse, but not significantly so. We'll make the Tinkerer move slowly. Enhancement Field and Reviving Shock. And it'd be nice to get the Brute going afterwards. Potentially with something like Skewer or Leaping Cleave. We could also burn Trample to hit everyone that we're passing through. Let's have a look again at Enhancement Field. +1 to all attacks this round, yes. So that would include Trample. So let's do that. Trample super slow. And then we'll go for a Leaping Cleave. And we'll try and open big with this. I think that's the right plan. So, quick summary. We're going to burn hard on this room. We're going to allow them to come to us by trying to move slower than they are. We're going to enhance. We're going to, in fact, Reviving Shock, range 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to hit you, but we're not going to hit anyone else. We need to move the Tinkerer. Let's move the Tinkerer to there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's going to reach. 1, 2, 3. That's going to reach. 1, 2, 3. Fine. Reviving Shock is fine there. I feel like the Tinkerer is a little bit at risk where they are. But Enhancement Field, Reviving Shock. Then the Brute is going to move around and try and hit as many things as possible with Trample and Leaping Cleave. Let's go. And they are all moving slower than us. It is frustrating, but it is fine. So, let's get the Aura. That's going to at least get us hitting harder. We could do the Eagle-Eye Goggles to get advantage. We could also do the Piercing Bow to get through his shield, but I think we'll save the Piercing Bow for later. And instead we'll hit him with it, and we'll hit you with it. What are you going to do? None of them are going to move. Well, the Living Bones is going to move 3, but it would have reached us anyway. I'm glad we had the advantage. It didn't feel like it was particularly great. So, geez. We can use the Boots of Striding, actually, to make this ultra worthwhile. So, hypothetically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'd love to be able to hit you and that one, but that's not going to happen. And Leaping Cleave is only going to hit one thing at the end. So maybe we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and finish there. But it would be better to end out of range of these guys, because they're not going to move. So after... let's back up. Can we go to you, then to you? No. We just don't quite have the range. Don't quite have the range to do what I want. We'll go like this. So we're gonna hit this guy on the way through. We're gonna come down here and target the skeleton with Leaping Cleave. It's not amazing, but it is at least better than nothing. Although, for what it is, we could switch it around. We can jump to here and we can trample this guy for 4. And that's probably a safer, better bet that doesn't burn a card. That is what this game is like. Getting the -1. This is why we want the consistency. You know what? We'll take the 2 damage. Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna have to do what we can. Starting with the Tinkerer, we can do some restoring. Hypothetically, we can do some restoring. A stun shot is a very smart choice. At a range of 3, it's going to allow us to like pick this guy off over here. After that, Volatile Concoction will give you a card back, so it gives us a little bit of card efficiency, if nothing else. Shield Bash will give us Shield 1, which is going to be useful for when things are right near us. And Spare Dagger would be fine. We don't really need Provoking Roar. Maybe we just skewer through them and just be done with it. It's going to give us an XP, which is the main reason for us taking it. Yeah, let's skewer him. Okay, so we're going quickly on this side and a little bit less fast. The Living Corpse is going to suffer damage. That's nice. So the shield isn't particularly useful, but it's what we picked. We could still use that to move, actually. Let's do the skewer first. Oh, and we can consume air for even more, just in case. Oh, and it could reach further. What are you actually going to do? You're going to attack 3? No, we're definitely going to kill you. Not risking it. All the damage. These guys are going to move too, and they're going to cluster up. So let's get a bit closer and let them come in. We'll give you back a card. And this is an ideal point for us to take Leaping Cleave back. Because these two are going to come in and they're going to stand right next to us. And then we'll stun you just for a bit of extra damage. No extra damage, just the stun. So our plan is pretty simple. We're going to Leaping Cleave. We want to do it as quickly as possible. So we'll do Provoking Roar, Leaping Cleave, hit them both. We'd like to keep moving quickly as well on this side. And we'd want to be getting as much XP as we can. I want to save the Flamethrower for the next room. We could get a Proximity Mine out over here, which would be kind of amusing. Even more amusing to be able to pull him in on it. I think if we can use the Flamethrower underneath to give everyone a bit of a shield. We can use the hook gun to pull this guy in. I think that's a reasonable plan. So, anyone who targets me. Leaping Cleave on you two. Yes! Look at that! Double kill. We'll do what damage we can to you. You know what? I'm actually going to leave you far away. And rather than shielding, I'm going to move us up and get some gold. That feels like a better option. He's going to come in a little bit, but really not much. We can heal up with Eye for an Eye. We can throw Spare Dagger at him. That's fine. That's nice and fast. And actually, we want to make sure that the Brute is getting... We'll use Eye for an Eye to move. Is getting the gold piles. Over this side, Toxic Bolt will get us moving first, and it will do poison at range 3. That means he's going to take more damage. That's good. And following on from that, we could just use Ink Bomb to move closer to the doorway. Okay, the Brute actually moved first. I wasn't quite expecting that, but that's fine. Spare Dagger. It's a good amount of damage. Move, grab the gold. That's 1 out of the 5 gold piles. Toxic Bolt might finish him off. It did! There we go. And we'll move a little bit closer to the door. Not go over and grab that. As tempting as it is. Right. I think we'll move slow. We'll do both of these. We'll go pick up that. We're going to kill some time over here. We could do Restorative Mist, actually, in order to provide just a little bit of healing. And then Reinvigorating Elixir to provide even more healing. Step away, step. You know what? Stay on that corner. Brute, we're gonna move over here, get the gold, and we're gonna ignore the ability. Okay, 2 piles. We can afford to do a long rest, which means we get to pick which card we burn, so that's good to do. We're not in any particular rush for this. And I'm kind of tempted to do the same over here, a long rest as well. So on the long rest, we will lose Overwhelming Assault, I think. Maybe Balance Measure. Balance Measure is great with something that's like super high move. You can get really big hits. You know what? Let's lose Eye for an Eye. We're not going to need any more healing. It does move quickly, but that's fine. And for the Tinkerer, we will lose... Hook Gun's great for picking up stuff at the end. Let's lose Volatile Concoction. It's an early scenario. How hard can the next room be? Right. So, the next room, what we could do is we could Skewer to move in 6, plus 2 for our boots is 8, and then Balanced Measure to really smack someone. With a move of 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll be able to get pretty far into the room. And if we do it the other way round, it'll give them a chance to move in first. Don't want to use enhancement field just yet. So I want something to move us in. And then maybe Ink Bomb for the XP if there's a nice group of stuff. Let's move in with a stun shot and then an Ink Bomb. So stun shot opens the door. Smell is worse in here. There's even more of them. Okay, what are they doing? He's moving on 20. He's going to move 2 and heal. So he's coming a little bit closer. These guys are going to move 0. So they're not going to cluster up at all. So we could go right into the middle. Ink Bomb is going to be a bit of a waste at this point. But we could at least get some damage out. And it's not like we're short on cards. I really wish it had one more space. We'll hit this guy. We'll take the advantage. We had a long rest, so it comes back. We don't need to use the piercing bow at this stage. 5 damage, bit of XP. Let's use... No, we'll save the minus stamina potion for now. He gets a little bit closer. Right, Brute. I mean, we can go right for the guy at the back and just wallop him, which I think is the smartest play. Charge! Attack 7. Down he goes. It's only 2 gold. We still need to pick it up, of course. In the middle, we're going to go Reviving Shock and Enhancement Field. I think we need to step in and get... Well, we can't step in and get Provoking Roar. But we can do Provoking Roar to get a disarm, and anything else to just move us in and get in the way of stuff is not a bad plan. One, 2, 3, 4, and then a disarm on someone. So we're potentially going to use Trample and Burn it in order to move through, and then Provoking Roar to actually do the disarm. I kind of like that. What do we have that's going to allow us to loot an area? Do we have anything that's going to allow us to loot an area? No, we don't. So we need to specifically step on the gold piles. In that case, let's change from the trample. Just anything that's going to move us into... Overwhelming Assault's a fine one to use for moving. We're going to step in here and then do a disarm. And Reviving Shock Enhancement Field, that's fine over this side. Now we're going to move in a bit. It's going to be painful, but it's going to be fine. Step in. Get the disarm. Get the gold. So that's 3 done. Ooh. So, let's undo a moment. These guys are only going to move 1. We could get the Reviving Shock and then step back out the way. Rather than getting the +1 to attack. Of course we get the ×2 on the one who's already going to die. That's kind of funny. Yeah, stepping stepping back to here. In fact, let's go back even further. We'll aim to pick up this gold, and the brute can come around and get this one, this one, this one. Now we'll use the minor stamina potion, and we'll get reviving shot back. Right, we're looking to hit and move, hit big. So shield bash would actually be pretty solid. And trample would allow us to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's try and move quickly like that. We'll get the reviving shock over this side, and restorative missile allows us to just move quickly. So let's do that. I'm going to move to and immobilize a muddle. They're moving pretty quickly, but not quickly enough. Shield bash, get him killed. That gives us a bit of XP as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've burned 2 cards doing that. But at the same time, we are getting another bit of gold. And, of course, doing a bunch of damage. Reviving shock on both of you. That's good. I'll take the gold and getting muddled and immobilized, at least for the next turn. Spare dagger's going to be fine. And warding strength just to get it done. Kind of I want to stun this guy, keep him alive a bit longer if we can. Hook gun's not going to help us. We're immobilized. Flamethrower gives us a shield. Let's go Toxic Bolt and Flamethrower. We might end up taking a little bit of damage. That's fine if we do. Hit this guy. That actually worked out well for what I wanted to do. Keeping him alive means we've actually got more chance to get the Brute's mission done. So spare dagger on this guy. It is going to be a disadvantage, but it worked. Well, no point in this burning warding strength because we're not gonna hit any sources of damage. A little bit painful. That's fine. We'll just take it on the chin. All right, short rest. Goodbye, spare dagger. Right. I want something that's going to move us at least to get one of these. Can we get any more XP? I don't think we can. Well, we only really need to move one. Let's move quickly. We'll go for Provoking Roar, and after that, it's all much of a muchness. You don't get the XP if you don't actually use the ability. The Loot 2 card is Hook Gun. So if we were to make it here, we'd be able to use that next turn if he was still alive. Which could get us more gold. It's not the worst plan. Or we could just kill him with net shoot. Let's hit him with net shooter, just in case he doesn't die. Let's use proximity mine to move into a better position for next turn. Step in. Skip the attack. Is that all we needed for the brute? That's the question. I think that was 5 for the brute. I don't know if we can easily find out. Well, you're going to attack 5 and push 1, so you're not actually moving towards us right now. You know what? Let's just hit him. He died. We'll come down, grab the gold. And I think it was enough. The last of the undead falls to the floor, and the curse on this place is lifted. Gold piles looted 5. Yeah, we managed it. So, main reason for this is obviously for the XP for the characters. Let's head back to the map. And quest complete. So, you found a new item design. When you find an item design, it becomes available in the merchant's shop. Glad you made it through okay. The trade route is already back in action, and I should have some stun powder in stock when you return. We should get other trade route requests in now, so let's keep expanding the network. Before you start, go have a bath for everyone's sake. And the brand new item down there, stun powder. During your attack, add stun to a single attack. Definitely situationally useful. We've done very well in getting XP for the brute. Tinkerer still got a fair bit to come in, but that went well. That went very well. And with that, I think that's going to be a good point to finish this episode off. Thank you very much for coming along, everyone. I do hope you have enjoyed this. As always, if you are enjoying this, be sure to give a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so, and you'll be told when the next episode goes live. Otherwise, I'll see you next time for some more Gloomhaven Guildmaster. See you soon.